Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for booking with me and thank you so much for your patience. You have no idea how much this last batch has kicked my butt, and I refuse to do any more past life readings after this one. I am very much kidding. So let me just tell you a little bit about how I do my past life readings, what I do, what I use to do my past life readings, and how I kind of move through them. So I do start off with a little bit of astrology. There is an astrologist that she's very well known for not only being a really great astrologist, she's like a very like OG astrologist. But she's also known for her books on past life astrology. So I have one over here, and this is kind of like the most basic one of all the her books. This is past life astrology, and this is kind of just like the intro to her other books, because along with past life astrology, she has karmic connections, she has patterns of the past, and she really dives into like each of your placements and the karma related to them. I always use Pisces as an example because one, I'm a Pisces and it's kind of easier to relate, but she talks about how each sign has its own individual karma and how your past lives kind of relate to it. Now I've noticed that, let's say you have predominantly Scorpio in, I believe it was the 5th or the 8th house. They tend to be in like darker, kind of have, I don't want to call them darker lessons, but they tend to have harder lessons regarding like dictatorships or like harder times within history. Compared to very like light houses, like the first house, which is the self house. So I really recommend this book to anybody trying to dive deeper into their chart. I can do a deep dive, but if I did a hugely deep dive, I would probably be talking to you for about 2 hours. So I'm already talking for 45 minutes most of the time. So I do get it a little bit into the sun, moon, and depending on your chart, the actual like the houses. She does to say that sometimes when you have large clusters in your house, it's kind of indicative of karma that you have accumulated over time. I have large clusters in the 12th house and the 11th house. The 12th house being the spiritual house, also being the house of isolation, being the house of imprisonment. And when I see 12th house placements, I mostly think of not maybe like being in jail, prison, but kind of like a mental jail, like a self-imprisonment. That's why for Pisces, the karma is always like self-isolation, and for the 12th house, it's always kind of more like I feel like that's kind of like the philosophical house, because I've seen a lot of people with 12th house placements that come out that they have been like kind of like entrepreneurs for like philosophy and stuff like that. So it's actually really interesting. So I do dive a little bit into your astrology portion. I also do crystals. So I kind of pull crystals to see what type of energy you might be exuding right now. And most of the time I don't pull out runes because, first of all, runes are very much a different divination than tarot. Runes are kind of like, they're old. I think it's like Celtic alphabet. And it's how I started reading energy. I didn't start with tarot. I started more towards runes. But I don't use them a lot. But for some reason, I've caught myself using them in like the last 1 to 2 batches, which is, fine. I realized that my last batch of past life readings have had like, I don't want to call it darker themes, but they definitely have had some interesting lifetimes, and they it's not even one lifetime. Sometimes like 2 to 3 pop up. So I see why this batch has taken me longer than usual. But I hope that it finds you at the right time. So then after telling you some of the crystals and stuff, I go into oracle cards. Now I use the Past Life Astrology deck by Doreen Virtue and Brian Weiss. And if you don't know who Doreen Virtue is, like, she's like an OG oracle card maker before she turned to the dark side and kind of went straight left with her beliefs and stuff. It's actually a really interesting story. But anyway, she makes some of the best oracle decks. They still sell them. You probably know the Romance Angels Oracle deck. That's the one deck that she's notoriously known for, but also like the Past Life Oracle deck. Now, if you don't know who Brian Weiss is basically the pioneer. He's the OG, the father of past life regression psychology. Oh, I'm sorry. Past life past life regression psychology. So basically, past life regression psychology is very much like regression psychology, except in his book, he explains how he had a patient. He's actually from Miami. He had a patient that he regressed too far to the point where she started kind of regressing into her past lives. And as this girl that she would be regressing, she had so many phobias. She had a lot of phobias that were extremely irrational. Nothing in her childhood or in her life would say like why she had these phobias until he started regressing her into her past lives. And as she remembered some of her past lives, the phobias would go away. Now, I personally have taken regression therapy for other reasons, for spiritual reasons, but also for mental health reasons. And I definitely recommend it. If you could find somebody that is certified, I always recommend it to people. I say it was like some of the best experiences of my lifetime. But anyway, Brian Weiss, he also has, the book is called Many Lives, Many Masters. He also has Same Soul, Different Bodies, Through Time into Healing. He has a couple of other books, and I have them around here somewhere, but I have read all of his books, and I highly, highly recommend them. So, yes, I use this one, and then I use my OG, my little baby. This is actually the first tarot deck that I ever owned. Oh, Page of Swords. Wow, with Page of Swords again? Okay. So, this is actually the first tarot deck that I ever owned. This is the Deviant Moon Tarot deck. It has been with me almost 6 years, and it is different than the Rider Waite. I feel like the images are more catered to me. A little spooky, a little spooky, a little different. But yeah, I use this along with the Psychic Tarot. And then at the end, I might actually start it now, but because I've realized that some people kind of need the message from Spirit before the actual past life reading. I will pull from either Sacred Destiny Oracle or from the, I'm trying to pick it up, but I'm just going to pick up one card because it's kind of hard to pick up. The Mermaids and Dolphins Oracle deck. This is also by Doreen Virtue. So I highly recommend this one. So I'm actually going to start with I think I'm going to start with the Mermaid Oracle deck to see what type of message Spirit has for you. I don't know. Do I want to start with that? Yeah. I'm just going to start with this, and then we'll go into astrology. So, what message does Spirit have for Julie? What message does Spirit have for Julie? Oh, man, that one must be like a serious message the way that thing came flying. Oh, interesting. Where'd it go? Hello. Wow, that thing like flew. Where'd it fly to though? Hey, one sec. I have like my bed over here and like, where the heck did it go? This is gonna be like a 45-minute video of me searching for this card because I have no idea where it went. Hello? Ow. Oh, here it is. It was actually not one card, it was two. Was it two? No, it was one card. Okay, but the one that flew out is actually, wow, this is very interesting. So the card that flew out is Synchronicities. And then the second card says pay attention. So I feel like you're probably getting messages in the form of numbers, maybe animals that you've been seeing, that like maybe you've seen the same little bunny hopping around. But, or maybe even sometimes it comes within like flowers, but you could be seeing certain angel numbers, maybe 333 or 555, because it says notice repetitive signs and your inner guidance as you yield valuable information. So I feel like maybe you do see the signs, but you don't realize what the information is telling you. It's actually going back to the crystals that I chose for you, and I'll tell you right now. But I feel like when you have a certain thought and then you see an angel number, pay attention to what that thought was about. and write down or kind of like notate it. Hey, this thought was about work and I'm seeing 444. So that to me indicates stability. Or this thought is about me moving out and I'm seeing 555, and that indicates change. And it says your prayers and questions are being answered by synchronized events. Notice them in order to increase their flow. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. As you start to notice the synchronicities, and you start to realize what thoughts are kind of like before or after the synchronicities, those are kind of signs for you. I feel like you just have to be more attentive to when you receive them, and even your dreams. I feel like dreams are kind of the most underrated forms of receiving messages because people don't know how to decipher them. But actually, I have a book here. I have a book for everything. I know I'm gonna be like an old crazy librarian lady, but okay. All right. I'm sorry. There's a massive bookshelf over here, and this is The Hidden Power of Dreams. Now, this is actually, I'm actually going to go into your crystals and then into your astrology because of how everything is kind of lining up. I kind of let just spirit take the wheel. And actually, this is really funny because at the bottom, it says consult an expert. So maybe an expert doesn't have to be, you know, a spiritual guru. It doesn't have to be a spiritual advisor. It can literally be a book or somebody like Denise Linn. Denise Linn is very known for her, like, her work on dreams. But consulting an expert can literally just mean consulting an author, consulting somebody on YouTube. Now be careful with YouTube because I followed somebody that was an expert on hair and it fried my hair off. You do not want to see my hair right now. But anyway, consulting an expert can also mean just consulting somebody with more knowledge, that is more knowledgeable about you. You don't have to physically know them. You could literally just be a well-known author on the subject, a well-known astrologist. Consulting an expert can literally just be you consulting a book. But I definitely recommend this one. And there's also a book on like symbols. Ooh, there's also a book on symbols and like what each mean. So I definitely recommend that. So I'm gonna jump into the crystals because what I chose for you is really, really interesting. So I'm gonna start off with the basic one, which is amethyst. Now, amethyst is a crystal for not only enhancing your dreams, but it's also a crystal for increasing your intuition. And that brings me to the rune that I chose for you, which here's the rune. I already forgot its name, but it's also made of amethyst, which I find very, very interesting. Now, I wasn't going to choose a rune for you, but it kind of just like flew out as I was kind of picking up my materials to do the reading. So I feel like amethyst is going to be a really like game changer. You could put it under your pillow if you're trying to like increase the messages. Sometimes what I do is I will get a crystal and I will wrap a little note around it to enhance a message that I'm trying to receive. I also do that with kyanite. Now, kyanite is a crystal for not only communication, but it is also considered the past life regression crystal. I keep it here because past life regression, past life memory and past life recall is very tiring. It's kind of like digging through sand, and it's what I tell people. That's why I can only kind of do 1 to 2 a day. And then I have citron. Citron is kind of to enhance the creative side of you. And I'm going to tell you why I chose these crystals in specific. It had a lot to do with your chart, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the energy that you're currently exuding. And then I have selenite. Now, selenite is ruled by Diana, which is the deity of dreams, the deity of the moon. And it's also a crystal of intuition and protection. This is actually a crystal that does not need charging. I carry a big old well, it's not huge, but it's a tower of selenite. And I also have a selenite wand under here that I use to charge my crystals. Because selenite not only charges crystals, but it is also cleanses the room, and it is an intuition, like it's related to intuition and stuff. I also carry a big old chunk of tourmaline. Now, tourmaline is a protection crystal, and I feel like maybe right now what you're being asked to do is maybe raise up that spiritual protection. Because I feel like Capricorns are very, what's the word for it? Stable. Their energy is very grounded, but with that grounding energy, people can take advantage of, and you can kind of become kind of like a stump to people. And give me one second. Sorry about that. I drink a lot of water because I know that I'm going to be like talking up a storm. But it's not like a stump, but I feel like people feel like they can just kind of like give you the weight of responsibility, because Capricorns tend to make how do I say it? Then they tend to make money out of mud. Is the best way I can describe it. They are very responsible, very dependable people. And if they are not, then they are not living true to who they are. There are three types of Capricorns. There is the domestic, there is the mountain, and then there is the sea Capricorn. The domestic is, I want to say, the most common type of Capricorn person. Domestic Capricorns tend to be more materialistic, and they tend to kind of be very wealth centered. And that's why I feel like this is the most common. That's why people see Capricorns as like, oh, they just like money and stuff like that. Then there is the mountain Capricorn. Mountain Capricorns are very, very, they're very go-getters, which most Capricorns are. They're very go-getters, but they can kind of lose sight of like the everyday common goals because they're shooting for something bigger and better. Then there's the sea Capricorn. This is kind of like the evolved version of the Capricorn. The sea Capricorn kind of knows the spiritual and the material, and they kind of bring everything together to create that that kind of perfect balance. Depending on what I just described, should describe who you are. You could probably figure out what type of Capricorn you are just by the descriptions. Then let me get into your Leo moon. Now, Leo moons are very, what's the word for it? I don't want to call them selfish. I feel like that is such a misplaced word when it comes to Leos. Leos are not selfish. Leos are the most giving people, and I feel like with Leo in your moon sign, you can kind of become, I don't want to say the word dramatic, but you could be a little dramatic. They kind of want the attention of their emotions to be placed on them. Like, you want people to recognize your emotions by any means, which is okay when it's time to assert yourself, but sometimes you gotta realize that, like, you gotta sometimes put yourself aside and also listen to other people, because I feel like as dramatic as it I feel like you feel it in a very dramatic way. That's what I'm trying to say. You feel it in a very, very dramatic way. And that can sometimes intimidate people. And I feel like you kind of have a very natural lead when it comes to emotions. You know how to embody your emotions when sometimes they can get the better of you because of that fire Leo energy. And then we have your Venus in Pisces. Now, as a Pisces myself, I will tell you that Venus and Pisces are kind of like, they expect love to be perfect, and that can sometimes rock you because we can kind of idolize people, and you can make them seem to be these great, amazing people, and then you realize that they probably were not schmack. You also have the urge to merge with somebody like in that loving, intense manner, and you can sometimes lose yourself. So I feel like between your Leo moon and your Venus in Pisces, love can be a very intense thing because Leos are very generous, and I feel like this is more of an emotional thing for you. You could be very generous with your time when it comes to helping other people, emotionally especially, and you're just very loving and very giving. But you have to be careful, and you might want to draw some boundaries, especially with that Venus in Pisces, because like I said, you might want to just merge, give this person everything, but that can cause you to get taken advantage of. Take it from me, a Pisces. Now, there was not a lot of clusters in your chart, which I was surprised about. So that in turn tells me that maybe your lifetimes you are learning the lessons and clearing karma. But the karma with the Cap Sun is, like I said, to bridge that line between the materialistic and the spiritual in a way that makes sense to you as a Capricorn, because Capricorns need to see output for them to feel like they are getting something. Like, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's kind of like a working out thing. Like, the easiest way for me to describe it is like if you're working out. When you're working out, you want to see results, and Capricorns are very much like that. If they don't see results in the physical, then they feel like it might be a waste of their time, which most of the time it's not. But I feel like you have to show, there has to be a way that you can monitor your progress, whether it's eternal, whether it's spiritual, that shows you results so that you as a Capricorn can feel, yes, the work is being done, yes, I am doing everything that it takes. So now I'm just gonna stop talking and merge right into your past life reading. So the way I tell people that past life reading works is, I don't know if you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I feel like that is the most, the perfect example of how past life regression and kind of past life readings work. Now, in Avatar The Last Airbender, Aang channels certain lifetimes so that when he has a certain problem. And the idea is that you've basically already gone through some of these problems, maybe more amplified, maybe less diminished. It just depends if you learn the lesson or not. And I tell people, your family is the most immediate karma that you will ever have in your lifetime. And depending on your relationships with them, it could be good or bad. So I won't be surprised if an aunt or an uncle or somebody comes up in here that has done you dirty. But yeah, so I'm gonna stop my chatter and let me just go right on ahead. Oh, okay. What past lifetime directly correlates to Julie's current lifetime? What past lifetime directly correlates to Julie's current lifetime? What past life directly correlates to Julie's? I feel like... Ooh, mamas. What did I say? What past life directly correlates to Julie's current lifetime? They're just flying everywhere. Interesting. I feel like you're gonna laugh at me, but I'll tell you right now. Anything else? Ooh, yeah. So the forgiveness card just dropped. What happened? I don't know if you saw this hair, but this hair is the process of listening to a YouTuber, which I will never do again. Okay, but anyway, let's see what cards came up for you. Very interesting. Ooh, what did I say about authority? Yes. So I see two very significant, wow, this one even got hot. Two very significant lifetimes for you. One does revolve around your mother, but let me show you the cards that I got. I got Greco-Roman, got Lessons and Blessings, I got authority figures, I have mother, I have forgiveness, and I have Celtic. So I'm going to tell you which ones I feel kind of go together. I feel like mother, forgiveness, and Celtic are kind of like one and the same. And then I feel like Greco-Roman, Lessons and Blessings, and authority are together. Now, I feel you are a male in the Greco-Roman era. I'm seeing art for whatever reason, so I don't know if you are particularly interested in some form of like actual drawing or actual art or creating something. Now, art doesn't always have to be like physically drawing. It could also be like merchandising, marketing, something that allows you to express your creativity through I feel like it's a very physical form too. Now, I do see you as like a young man. You are about the age of 23, and I see you kind of roaming through the town, and like, I don't know if you're from a family of merchants, but I do see a lot of like merchandise being sold and you kind of picking things up. You have a huge smile on your face, and it feels like this is work that you could really get behind. Not only because it's like physical, like something physical, but it's also because you get to interact with people on a day-to-day basis. You have like this like really curly hair and almost like a mole on the side of your face. I do see that you, like, there feels like there's a lot of light around you, but there also feels like there's a lot of envy around you for whatever reason. I don't know if the color, he's wearing like it's kind of like a satchel, but it's like there's like a red, kind of like a red like badge here, so that indicates to me that he has some like money, that his family is kind of like not rich, I want to say, but better off because of their merchant business. In their house, they kind of have like these purple flowers. I don't even know what to describe these purple flowers like, because I'm not very good at like memorizing flowers and flower names. They might be tulips, they might not be, but he does kind of keep like these flowers around. I feel like he has a sister that has passed, and this is kind of like to honor her in some sort of way. Like, the sister was very much like young when she passed. She was maybe like 14. Like, she was very young, and it seemed like she had gotten sick. Like, this was kind of like an illness that kind of took her from him in a way, and he was very protective of her. I don't know if this is going to be like one of your sisters that you might find yourself very, very protective of, or this could also be a best friend or a cousin. But let me see. There's no. Oh, okay. So yeah, I feel like after his sister passed, he kind of took a step back from his business in a way. He might have taken some losses. The Chariot in reverse just shows me like it was like slow movement. And there might have been a lot of difficulties surrounding his. I don't want to say like he wasn't making money, because he was. He just wasn't making the amount of money that he was before she was there. I feel like it's kind of like some sort of shadow that looms over him, because he feels like if I have money, why wasn't I able to save her type thing. And I feel like eventually he gets to a point where he is able to forgive. I feel like he blames his father a lot, because his father was kind of around when she got sick, and he feels like he could have done more to kind of take her to somebody that could have helped her. I feel like he does not have a good relationship with his dad in this lifetime. I want to see who this dad is. Your dad might have not been your same dad in this lifetime, by the way. This could be an uncle, this could be a grandfather, this could be somebody else. It just depends. Like, who is the dad? So he could be a water sign. As I have the Eight of Cups reversed. So the Eight of Cups reversed tells me that somebody, it could be a water sign. So Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces that is kind of stuck in their ways in some sort of way. Like, I feel like this person is not emotionally mature, that they are mature in age, but emotionally they kind of lack those skills. This could have been somebody that you grew up in. They could have come off as childish and kind of been like more me-centered around. I feel like that's what it is, that they're not willing to learn. And even now in your current lifetime, they're really not willing to kind of emotionally grow in some sort of way. So yeah, he does kind of like blame this father figure for the loss of his beloved sister. The mother isn't around for whatever reason. I feel like the mother died after the sister, like not after the sister, but she died shortly. She gave birth to your current sister in this lifetime, and she did not make it. So it's literally been like a weird, like, the dynamic between you and this father figure in this lifetime causes you to resent authority in some way. That's also why I'm getting authority figures here. Let me see. I want to see what else you can tell me about this connection. Oh. Okay. Spirit has spoken. From, like, sorry, I feel like it like fell a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, so I have firm foundation here. So I feel like it caused him to kind of, oh, the number 4 is also here too. It caused him to kind of suffer in silence. I have suffer in silence here. And firm foundation, which to me feels like he did not have a firm foundation within his, like, within this lifetime and his father. So I don't know if in this lifetime this is your current father, but I feel like tensions here were a little rocky. This kind of feels like more of like a business type relationship than actual father-son relationship. I also have crown chakra here. So crown chakra to me indicates that you were kind of already spiritually aware in this lifetime, and that this would eventually help you. I feel like there's somebody here that just, the number 7 is really present. Have you been seeing 777? Because 777 is the number of like spiritual wisdom, and spiritual wisdom, enlightenment, change. It's like a very different number than the humanitarian number 9, though they kind of like radiate the same. So back to this. So I feel like he never really had a firm foundation with his father, so he sought somebody else out. I feel like that's also emotional withdrawal is here, my love. This is what I mean by he sought somebody else out. I feel like this is gonna be somebody that's gonna mentor you in the future. Let me see. I wanna see who this person is. Okay, so they could be an Aquarius. Like, I feel like whoever this is gonna be, the Temperance card is here. Now the Temperance card kind of reminds me a lot of the Star. The Star represents Aquarius, but I feel like this person could be an Aquarius, with heavy fire in their chart. And I feel like it's gonna be a woman. Like, I feel like whoever this person is gonna be making a large impact in your life. Because I also have the Eight of Pentacles, which to me indicates apprenticeship. So whatever you're gonna be doing in your lifetime, this person is going to be like kind of like the backbone to it. And she does, I say she, current time, she does help you a lot in realizing your potential in this lifetime. I do see you making big achievements in the like more of like the business industry here, kind of selling your own products. I don't know if you're like self-employed or this is something that you want to do, but I feel like if this is something you want to do, this is kind of like the person that you call on to help you make these kind of decisions. I feel like he uses intuition a lot to make decisions that were right for him, and that did lead him to like a better understanding of himself and how he's going to create money and his wealth and stuff like that. But again, I feel like there's a lot of envy around you this time, and I don't know if what I'm seeing like is an air sign, but I am seeing somebody that's particularly envious of you. Could be another Capricorn, but I'm feeling like it's an air sign. Like, I can't shake the feeling. Like, maybe you had a friend that was like, and the reversed Wheel of Fortune was here. Maybe you had a friend that kind of like was discouraging you, like not even like hardcore discouraging you, but I feel like they were probably like they're like, no, maybe you shouldn't do that, maybe not, like, oh, but you never know. Like, I feel like this could also be a close family member, just because of the closeness that I'm getting in the relationship. Like, they're trying to discourage you from doing something that you really want to do and you know you have the passion for, but they're kind of like, oh, but what about the money, but oh, what about this, just because they don't want to see you succeed in it. It's not because they have the best intentions at heart. I feel like there's some sort of envy for, like, I feel like it's just like an envy thing. Like, I very much feel like it's an envy thing. Like, they feel like that you're gonna do better and that you're just gonna like leave them in the dust type thing. But yeah, it very much revolves around envy. So just be very careful with this person. I feel like this person is gonna be an air sign, but Earth is here too. But just be very, very careful with this person, especially with what they say. I feel like this is why I feel like they're an air sign, because of how they're saying things. Like, oh, you don't have the money for that, and what if this happens? Like, I'm getting like money is involved in some sort of way, and they're like, oh, I just want you to be like financially secure type thing. Like, they're just making it seem like they have your best interest at heart, which is definitely not the case here. So I'm gonna hop into the next lifetime. You do live a long life in this one, and I feel like maybe you've had dreams of being this person. He, like I said, he has like very light curly hair, kind of short, kind of slim built, and then he carries like this like little red crescent around with him. So just, if that sounds like a dream that you've had, this is who you've been, ma'am. So let me get into the other lifetime. So I have Celtic here. I feel like if you've ever been attracted to like Rome, Greece, like these places, this is because this is where you kind of come from. You have mother and you have forgiveness. Now, like I said, in the past lifetime, your mother was not present. I feel like maybe this could cause like a distance between you and mom right now, or you may or you may have never seen really eye to eye with her. I feel like this has to do with kind of like the Celtic era. I feel like in this era, let me see what type of cheese may played out here. Ooh, oh Lord. These cards are always flying, except for where I need them to fly to. Okay. I feel like, oh, there's another one over here. Yeah. So the King of Cups in reversed, the Two of Cups, and the Three of Cups. That's a lot of cups. So I'm feeling like this was kind of like an emotional, like, she wasn't there for you emotionally during this time. Here you feel more of like a young woman. Like, you feel like maybe like in your like 18, 19. And I feel like she left like I do see a long period of time where she leaves. Now, I'm not sure if this is due to her job or due to like tensions growing in the house, but she does leave, and you feel like you needed that in your life. Like there was no solid bond between you and her in this lifetime, and it feels like you kind of sought refuge in like other relationships. I do feel like you are how do I put it without making it seem, you are not attracted to men in this lifetime. Let's just say that. So your mom sees this as like I don't know, like she kind of blames herself for it, but it was what you preferred in this lifetime. Now we were not all straights, and we could have been straight here, or we could have not been another lifetime, but yeah, I feel like you sought comfort and refuge in your love for other women. I don't want to make it seem weird because I feel like it's always super weird when I start saying stuff like this, but like yeah, like so you did find like some sort of like refuge in that, and your mom saw it as like lewd and unacceptable, but you do kind of like, again, I'm seeing art for whatever reason, so I'm not sure if this was her gateway as well too, to kind of like release tension. I'm sorry, that's my little dog. To kind of release tension, but you do move out very early on, and I feel like she kind of ostracized you a little bit in this lifetime, so I feel like maybe her views and your current views are very drastic in change, and that's what this lifetime in itself is kind of feeling like. Like I feel like the sexual orientation, I don't know your sexual orientation now, but in this lifetime I felt like this kind of solidified like a growing gap between you and your views on certain things. The card of forgiveness is here, though I do feel like you died resenting your mom, or just kind of like how she treated you in this lifetime and that period that she was missing. And I feel like this could either cause codependency, like you physically do not want your mom to leave anywhere, or this could have just caused you to be a very isolated person, like towards her. Like I have heavy karma with my mother as well, and that kind of caused me to emotionally withdraw from her. And I feel like this could either be very similar. I was very codependent with her as a child, and then as an adult, I am very emotionally withdrawn with her. And it just has a lot to do with obviously past life karma, but current life karma. So I feel like your relationship might be the same. You might be at some point you were at a very like a very pull. You don't want her to leave, and then you were at a very like hyper independent type situation. So yeah, I do want to see what messages rely on. Let me see. I am going to put, let's see. Ooh. Spirit is thriving. Okay. The first card is thriving. Now, I love the landscaping on these. The next message is power. I feel like it's a reclaim of power, though. I feel like these cards are one. Oh, and then I have community under here. Now, what did I say about you finding somebody that could help you? But I feel like this is the order. I feel like once you reclaim your power or find that power within yourself, you're going to be able to thrive just naturally. The giraffe in itself is a symbol of like wealth and of like status in itself. And then community, like community, you have the butterflies. I feel like you need to find your community. Like the community that you're going to find is going to empower you in some sort of way. And it's going to help you kind of achieve that. Again, I'm getting that heavy, like eight of pentacles energy. So even somebody that can not even like fully mentor you, but kind of show you the ropes around things. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a physical body. It doesn't have to be somebody that you go to. It could literally be an author or an astrologist or a spiritualist, somebody that gives this information out that you feel you can rely on and that it's going to push you towards your spiritual growth. The last card under here is Voyage, and I feel like this one's kind of very like very interesting, because if you didn't know, the whale is a symbol of like spiritual and emotional depth, and I feel like that can very much mean like kind of finding that place. But it's also, the whale is also like a very social animal. It's very much about community, so I feel like these all kind of relate to one another. But yeah, if you have any other questions, I feel like I just I rummage all over the place. But if you have any other questions, like, please feel free to reach out to me through Twitter or through email. Just let me know. Thank you so much for your patience, and I hope this kind of like enlightened you a little bit. I always tell people, like, once you receive a past life regression with me, you're gonna start to remember things, like either in dreams or you're just randomly be walking and see things in your head. But I hope that this video found you well. I realized that I've been talking for 50 minutes. But thank you so much for booking with me, honey, and thank you so much for your time. Bye.